Hello, good evening, and welcome to In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. And the jump season is well and truly here. It is November, of course, so 3 days at Cheltenham, with one of us already well and truly behind us on Friday afternoon, but still 2 more to go. And hopefully we'll be getting right into the swing of the national hunt game after a long and exciting flat season. And hopefully you backed a couple of winners at Prestbury Park this afternoon as well. If you didn't, that's what we're here for, to help you along the way on Saturday and Sunday. My name is Ross Brierley, and thank you for watching. If you're watching live at home, or if you're watching on record, maybe you couldn't sleep at 4 a.m. and you thought, oh no, I'll tune into those lads talking about Cheltenham. It's been known to happen, but if you're watching live, do get involved on that chat on YouTube and like and subscribe to the stream as well. But we've got plenty of questions to answer over the weekend. Can Paul Nicholls continue his fantastic form? He's got 4 big chances, would have been 5. Monmoral hadn't been pulled out at Cheltenham over the course of the weekend. We've got a couple of Cheltenham Festival winners going head-to-head in the Arkle trial. On Sunday, of course, we've got one of the big handicap hurdle betting events of the season in the shape of the Greatwood. Edwardstone makes his return to the track as well, and hopefully, like I said, a few nice price winners to boot. And luckily, the A-team is ready and raring to go and in charge of that tipping responsibility. So first things first, I'm going to turn to my left for the first time in a while to say a very good evening to Mr. Paul Kealy and say well done, Keels. The old again, the dress code got through to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Burnley is it? You said.
I think it was. Yeah. It's well, my missus is a Burnley fan, so
right,
the claret and blue thing over the weekend. I think
there we go. I couldn't even tell you what division they're in.
Well, I mean, we try not to talk about it in the house, if I'm honest with you. But are you into jumps mode yet, or is this?
I'm fully into jumps mode. Have been for a while.
Have you?
Yeah, I love it.
Since what? Swinton?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. No, fully. And I've been fully into it for a while. Enjoyed the racing today. A bit frustrated. A couple of the ones I toyed with putting up won, and the ones I did put up didn't run so well. So I'll be clawing it back over the next couple of days. But there's plenty of fantastic racing tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah, I'd like to apologise for coming in and going, oh, nice winner today. And you said, I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah, Magic Dancer. Yeah, it's the one I should have tipped. But no, I tipped a horse called Master Dancer who got collared on the running.
Yeah, that's
right. Only third.
I was giving you more credit than you deserve there, if anything. But that said, if you back Magic Dancer today, well done on you. Tom Segal at home. I haven't seen you for so long, Tom. Just for a second there, forgot who you were. It's been a long time.
Here I am, Ross, still alive.
Long time. We've had a whole flat season. You weren't here for the Breeders' Cup, obviously, or your favourite meeting. But
what a load of rubbish that was, wasn't it? Oh my God, when are they going to give up with that? Just have the dirt races in America and have the turf ones over here, because there's no point in splitting them up, is there? They win all them and we win all the others.
There you go. I thought I'd just get the Tom Segal trademark cynicism out of the way straight off the bat and into the positivity. Talk to us about Cheltenham.
Yeah, it was good today, wasn't it? Enjoyed it very much. Nice to have it back. You know, we had obviously the first meeting the other week. It was good, wasn't it? I thought there was some really good performances. Paul Nicholls' novice looked really good. I know they probably weren't the best Gordon Elliott's and Willie Mullins' novices. In fact, I'm certain they weren't the best Paul Nicholls and Willie Mullins or Gordon Elliott novices. But I thought it was really good. He jumped really well, didn't he? He'll win some races for sure. Lots of good ones. Perhaps the Cheltenham Hurdle at Newbury looked his race. He's won it before, hasn't he, with Stage Star and a few others. So liked him. Thought Hermes Allen was pretty good.
Well, I mean, yeah, he'll go in the Cheltenham, won't he? Turn up at Cheltenham and get beaten out of sight by 23 Irish graded challengers at the same stable. But that's the
some bookie almost. You know, I can't remember who it was, but they cut him to like 8-1 for the Ballymore already. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, there will be 5 Willie Mullins horses entered in that race that we don't even know are going to run in it. Yeah. One of them will go off odds on. Yeah. The other 2 will finish second and third. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's just too far out for, especially especially for a British horse to be that short for a race like that.
Yeah. David Stevens is joining us as well from Coral and from Cheltenham as well. You've had a nice day.
Yeah, a most enjoyable day. Very healthy crowd at Prestbury Park, as they always seem to get. I'm paying homage to Keels and Tom with the wise owl over my shoulder there. I'll let viewers decide which of them best lives up to that that description. But yeah, been a really good day. I was just looking, actually, we were 12-1, that Paul Nicholls winner, so hopefully not too short at this stage of the season. But it's been a big day. I've had one eye on Cheltenham, but one eye on the launch today of the Coral Racing Club, which, as the name would suggest, is a racing club, but one with a difference, because it is completely free to join. All Coral customers have got to do is opt in, become a member of the club, experience the thrill of racehorse ownership. Well, I say racehorse ownership, but racehorses ownership, because we have 4, indeed, maybe as we speak, 5 racehorses.
Yeah, so yeah, Simon Clare is bidding one as we speak. Yeah, you've got a nice little mix as well. Various, obviously, Annie Mac's been flying the flag for the club over the years, but you've added a couple of flat horses, and like you said, hopefully a one at the sales, and also one that. I mean, this is the real reason people want to own racehorses is they want to name them, David. Yeah, and you get the chance to do that. So you're absolutely right. Look, Annie Mac is a star. She is on target to run at Carlisle at the end of the month, so that's exciting. We've got Lady Mendoza, a 5-year-old mare trained by Rebecca Menzies, who has been entered for a race at Newcastle next Thursday, so members could be there to enjoy that one. We've got this unraced Westerner gelding, and I'm expecting lots of good names. By Westerner, out of Eternally Grateful. The clever people amongst the members will be able to come up with some cracking names there. Name that one. I know Joe's very pleased with that one, Joe Tizard. And then John Joe, as you say, John Joe and Simon, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching live, as we speak, they are at the Cheltenham sale. If you're watching it later, it's on Friday night. And then for flat fans, because not everyone loves the jumps as much as Keels, but we've got an all-weather flat horse trained on the track at Southwell by Scott Dixon. He's called Conservative. I hasten to add, that isn't what we named it. He was already named that. Okay, there you go. Yes, it's interesting. If that had gone to the vote, I'm not sure it'd be coming out on top at the moment, would it? But all right. So just remind us how you can join that, David. Yeah, so coralracingclub.coral.co.uk. Let's say if you're a Coral account holder, all you do is opt in. Lots of other benefits. I mean, chance to attend race days as owners, win a share of any prize money the horses might pick up. But we've got lots of Coral sponsorships through the year, where there'll be chances to win tickets for the hospitality from everywhere, from the Newbury Coral Gold Cup to the Scottish National to the Coral Eclipse, Doncaster Glorious Goodwood. And, of course, we'll have all the exclusive content from the stables, chance to visit the stables, meet the trainers, meet the horses, and, as I say, all completely free of charge. So who doesn't like something that's free? Well, that is true. The best things in life are, David, I've heard. But I'm starting a campaign right now, by the way, to get that unnamed Westerner named either Paul Kealy or Tom Segal. So, or just Keels. Keels isn't a bad name, is it?
Do, isn't it? Yeah.
And down the outside comes Keels. And he comes.
You've won any race, Keels?
Yeah, there you go. He took one look at the fence, decided he can't be bothered. That's. I believe the actual Westerner gelding is quite an athletic sort, so I'm not sure either about this.
Doesn't fit then, does it?
You haven't seen Keels. You haven't seen him play table tennis, David.
You haven't seen me jump, mate. I tell you.
Yeah, there you go. I tell you what, he can clear a hurdle. I tell you. Anyway, let's crack on then, shall we, with the action at Cheltenham over the course of the weekend. Starting off on Saturday with the Triumph Hurdle trial and a French import from the aforementioned informed Paul Nicholls stable in the shape of Blue King Doro is 13-8 favourite. Scriptwriter is 7-2. Perseus Way for Gary Moore, and connections that enjoyed quite a lot of success with Porticello last season is 5-1. Mr. Freedom, who probably should have won at Wetherby last time out if he hadn't had a few independent ideas about the game late on, is 6-1. War Correspondent 13-2. Medjaf 9-1. Tuddenham Green 14s, and just another one 40-1. The outsider here, probably not a badly named outsider there, Keels, as I believe over a drink. You were told yesterday the favourite might be all right.
Yeah, might be all right. Well, I mean, it's French form tells you he's all right. I mean, if you remember back to the Fred Winter last year, remember Gallic Warrior went off at like 13-8 or something, off a mark of 129, because the BHA handicapper had changed the way he handicaps. I mean, he actually, he would have been 139 the old way, and it dropped him £10. Well, if they dropped this horse £10 and gave him a rating, he'd still be on 141, because he's rated, he's rated the equivalent of what last year would have been 151 in France. He's been close up behind a couple of, behind possibly France's top Juvenile. I mean, we all know they really, really do overrate their 3-year-olds, because they have such a big programme for them, and he can't be that good But when you look, the horses in here with the highest official ratings on 1, 2, 3, which is Dan Skirtle's Medjaf, and he's got a £5 penalty to give away. There's a fair chance his Blue King Daroo is different class, and you can get 13 to 8. I think he was bigger than 2 to 1 earlier in the day. He'll be near evens by the off. I think there's a fair amount of confidence behind him as well. Yeah.
Okay, Blue King Daroo is 13 to 8 favourite here then for the Paul Nicholls team and Connections. Who, to be fair, Tom, I've had a few hyped juveniles over the years that haven't necessarily come to fruition. Solo's the first one that comes to mind, but the other ones, there's obviously an experience in the shape of Perseus Way. This is a big ask for him, and the others have to improve. Albeit Milton Harris, he could do no wrong last season, and scriptwriter, could he be another Knight Salute?
Yeah, he could be. He was a good horse for Aidan O'Brien, wasn't he? Back as a 3-year-old, looked okay at Sedgefield. Little bit lukewarm about him. I prefer Perseus Way myself. I thought he had all the hallmarks of making up into a good hurdler after I saw him win at Newbury on the flat for Owen Burrows last time. Beat a nice horse of Clive Cox's and stayed on well. And I remember Jim Crowley was interviewed afterwards, and he said he'd stay as long as you like, and he'll give him the ground, and he's perfect to be going hurdling. And here he is with Gary Moore, about to start his career. As Keel says, Blue King Daroo might just be different class. Very French form, so I think he'll probably win. But I think Perseus Way is definitely one to watch for the future. And if, as they think, he'll like soft ground, a race like that Chepstow one, which Porticello won last year, might be on his radar. But never seen him jump a hurdle, so we can't really be saying too much about him yet. But I think Blue King Daroo will win, and I think Perseus Way is probably the one to keep an eye on.
Okay, thanks guys. And David, just wrap us up with this opening race on Saturday.
Yeah, well, as Keel said, it's been money for the Paul Nicholls favourite already, now into 13 to 8. Scriptwriter won the same race at Sedgefield as Knight Salute did, so surprised to see that one rail. And yeah, I like Perseus Way as well, and for a yard that does well with these juvenile hurdlers, if tomorrow's not his day, then I'm sure his day will come. But Blue King Daroo, for those that do like the favourite, we've got our first enhanced special of the night. Blue King Daroo to win by over 4 lengths, was 4 to 1, now 5 to 1, that one. So you can get with the favourite if you think he's going to win by 4 or more.
Okay, thank you very much for that, guys. Blue King Daroo then 13 to 8, 5 to 1 out from 4 to 1 if you want him to win by over 4 lengths. Moving on, but before we do, just breaking news. Welcome to the jump season. Our first disappointment so far is Alaho. Has just been ruled out of the King George as we
What a
speak.
surprise!
So, but
did anyone really think he was going to run?
I was shocked because
telling everybody for ages. Believe it when I see it.
Irish horses so very rarely.
What a surprise!
Come over and have a challenge, but there you go. Keel says,
"Oh dear."
It was a massive giveaway, wasn't it, when they said Envoy Allen was going for the King?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It wasn't going to run.
No chance whatsoever of it running.
There you go, you bunch of old cynics. Right, let's crack on to the 110 though. If you were hoping to see Alaho at Kempton and did believe that, then
I was hoping, because I thought he'd get beat. I don't think I know he won at Punchestown, but I've always felt he was better going to Cheltenham.
He's better in the spring as well, isn't he?
All right, guys, we've got 9 races to get. We've got 9 races to get through, and Alaho's not running any of them. Right? So.
I'm trying to avoid the Sunday stuff. Can't you see how I'm feeling?
Well, you've got an amateur jockey's handicap chase to go through first, Tom, where Valshada is 130 market leader for Nicky Henderson and Will Biddick. It's 11 to 2 and 19 Lambourne, 13 to 2 Bob Hope or No Hope, 13 to 2 Brave Way. Castle Robin is 7s, Punitive 15 to 2, Jimmy the Digger 17 to 2, Melina Girl is 10 to 1, and bigger prices the rest. Last couple of seasons, this race has gone to a fairly unexposed and progressive type, and Valshada went under a little bit of the radar last season. Tom, when I was going back through this race, I thought that doesn't necessarily ring a bell. Watched back a couple of the races, decent speed figures, unexposed type, stays the trip, comes from a top yard. I was quite interested in this Valshada. 130 though to take the chance that he's fit and ready to start off the season with a bang. But Nicky's got his horses in good nick.
Yeah, Will Billick's riding as well, isn't it? A lot in his favour. Don't know. 4-runner race at Boslas last time. It's a bit different than a 14-runner, whatever it is, round 10-run. Well, I can't remember how many runners around Cheltenham. It's a totally different kettle of fish. I prefer Knight in Lambourne myself. Thought, is it he or she should have won last time? I thought he canted through the race and jumped really well and just got collared up the hill by Jimmy the Digger. I think going to run another big race off a bit up in the weight, but not much. And I just thought there were doubts about a few of the others in there. So for me, it was all about Knight and Lambourne and Jimmy the Digger. I like that form from last time. They were well clear of the rest. Valshida might be a different class, but with the it's a totally different kettle of fish, as I say. So I'll stick with a Knight in Lambourne.
Okay, Knight in Lambourne is
which I haven't
11-2.
had many of.
You have?
I haven't had many Knights in Lambourne. What about you?
I don't think I've had any.
No, I don't think I've had any either. No, maybe we should change that. If this wins, we'll change it. But it's Mr. Kealy. A couple of Irish raiders, though, kind of muddying the waters for this handicap chase. What was on your radar?
No, I did. I mean, Brave Way has been running very well, hasn't she, for Henry de Bromhead? But the one I liked the most was Castle Robin. Would be surprised that he's been pretty much laid out for this. I'd have thought he won a handicap hurdle at the meeting 2 years ago, and he's a winner. He won 3 of his 6 chases last year as a novice. And was improving, and I thought it was a perfectly respectable return when 4th at Kelso last time out. And I just think around 8-1 is a solid each way horse. He's won 5 of his 15 starts overall, so he knows how to get the job done, and he handled good ground.
Yeah, and he was up against. I mean, they were better horses, weren't they, at Kelso? I mean, the 3 in front of him were rated 145, 150, 156, and he just made a little bit of a mistake at a crucial point coming into the home straight. And I thought he ran all right.
But he rallied again afterwards, didn't he? Like, he rallied again, then got tired. This is perfect, like I say, he's a course winner over hurdles at the meeting. I think he's got a fair shout. And
of course, he's in the silks, in the colours.
He's in the silks, isn't he?
He's in the maroon.
Must be colourblind. Doesn't look like that to me on my screen.
Fair enough. Castle Robin then is a 7-1 shot here for this amateur jockeys handicap chase. 14 of them go to post. Anything interesting on this event for you, David? Apart from a cheeky extra place.
Yes, 4 places each way in this race, and I'm with Tom on this one. A Knight in Lambourne, up £6, but he's in form, and I'm hoping that 6 won't be enough to stop him. For an informed trainer and a decent amateur in Jack Andrews. So a Knight in Lambourne for me, and has been backed. I'm sure that is down to Tom, not myself. Now 11-2, was 13-2 a little bit earlier.
Okay, yeah. I think a little birdie told you potentially to back it, David, and it's sat right behind you on the windowsill. But Valshida's 130 favourite. Knight in Lambourne then for you, Tom?
Yeah, Knight in Lambourne for me.
Okay, and I'm going to agree with you, Keels, and not just because of the colour of the silks, but I think Castle Robin's going to win a big race.
Yeah, I do, yeah, I think he's the one for me, yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's the amateur jockeys handicap chase at Cheltenham tomorrow, the 110. Moving on to the 145, where we have the Arkle trial. Novices chase here with 6 of them going to post. Unfortunately, we don't have Montmoral lining up, but it's still an interesting race regardless. But it would have been nice to see if that Grade 1 winning Juvenile could have taken to fences here at Cheltenham. But Tommy's Oscar, who was a bit of an outside northern hope in last year's champion hurdle and got off the mark at the first time of asking in the most dramatic 2-runner race you'll have seen in a while at Carlisle, is 7-4 favourite. Banbridge is 15-8. Pentland Hills 7-2. Glory and Fortune 10-1. Sole Pretender 10-1. And Fusain is a 66-1 outsider of the bunch. Montmoral out, but still an interesting little race. Question marks over a couple of them. Obviously, Pentland Hills hasn't been seen for a while, but to be fair, I mean, Tommy's Oscar only beat 1 horse last time out, Keels, but it was 1 more than Pentland Hills did.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. One's had a walkover, one's won a match. I mean, Tommy's Oscar was giving chunks of weight as well to Geromino, and just about got up, didn't he? And it was a good run. I don't think he's dispelled the worries about an undulating track like Cheltenham, though, with that run in the champion hurdle. I mean, OK, he was out of his depth, but he's still only 9th of 10, beaten nearly 30 lengths or whatever. And although on official figures, he'd have to give chunks to Banbridge if it was a handicap and a handicap hurdle or whatever. I don't believe that for a minute. I think Banbridge is very, very good. I think he looked really good on his chase debut. He jumped like he'd been doing it for ages. You know what I mean? There was nothing spectacular, no real bold jumps or anything like that. Just from one side to the other, very quickly, very efficiently. He won the Martin Pipe at the festival last year. The Martin Pipe has obviously been one of some very, very good horses. Obviously, usually trained by Willie Mullins, but he likes to gallop into Champton Poli, Canalta Vic, all won that race. And I think Banbridge is going to be a miles better chaser than he was a hurdler. And even though he's dropping down to 2 mile here, I don't see that as a problem. I think he's going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, and interesting that they went up in trip for Aintree and they're way back down here.
The funny thing is, he was actually entered in the 2.5 mile novice handicap on today's card and was smashed in from an opening 4-1 to 11-10 and then didn't get declared.
Right, okay.
So, I don't know who was doing the punting. It probably didn't take a lot of money to move him like that at those sort of stages, and it obviously wasn't connections. But, you know, it's a vote of confidence in him to decide, right, we're going for the 2-mile Grade 2 instead. And I think it'll pay off. I think Montmoral was always likely to turn into a very good chaser, but it was never going to want good ground.
Okay, so Banbridge it is.
It is Banbridge for me, yeah.
Banbridge then a 15-8 shot, and the old adage, Tom, that's you want a 2.5 miler for the Arkle, and this could well be the angle for Joseph O'Brien's Raider. Pentland Hill's obviously a fascinating runner, and Glory of Fortune, a very big price on his ability, but maybe a bit of a flat track bully, as they say.
No, I don't think so. I thought he ran a blinder in the Champion Hurdle, didn't he? He was 5th, was he? Closing on those in front of him at the line, bar the winner. I think he's a massive price, isn't he? I know he looked to hate jumping when he tried it a couple of seasons ago, but he's a different horse now. And I can't believe he must be showing a prowess to jump now at home for them to go back over it. He's got loads of races he could back over hurdles. So that's a big price, 10-1, isn't it? If you throw in how good he was over hurdles compared to Tommy's Oscar, he was a lot. I think he's a lot better. He won the Betfair Hurdle, didn't he? He was 5th in the Champion Hurdle. That's a big price, 10-1. But Banbridge was exceptional on his jumping on his day. You don't see horses jump as efficiently, I would describe it as. He wasn't massively bold or anything, but he was just really efficient at his fences, and I like horses like that. And I think he's going to be really hard to beat here. It's a really good race, though, isn't it? You got a former Triumph winner, Pentland Hills. You got a former Martin Pipe winner, Banbridge. You got the 5th in the Champion Hurdle. You got Tommy's Oscar, one of the best hurdlers up north. Sole Pretender had some very good form too and ran pretty well behind Strawfan Jack here last time. I think it's probably one of the races of the weekend for me. I think Banbridge will win it, but I'm really interested to see how Glory and Fortune jumps, because I've got a lot of time for him as a racehorse. I think he's really good and underrated, and once again he's gone underrated here. Whether I'd back him, I might have to throw a few quid at him at 10-1 because he's just too good to be that price.
Okay, too good to be 10-1, says Tom about Glory and Fortune. Tommy's Oscar 7-4, but Banbridge seems to be the most popular selection here, David. And with that Montmoral absentee, going to be a bit of a bun fight for favouritism here, I think.
Yeah, as Tom just said, really good race even without Montmoral. I think Banbridge will probably start favourite. I know Tommy's Oscar is holding on to it at the moment, but the momentum is definitely with the Joseph O'Brien runner, who jumped so well on his debut. Pentland Hills, we simply don't know how good his fencing will be. I mean, he'll have been well schooled for sure, but obviously had that walkover. Tommy's Oscar, yeah, he was giving a lot of weight away, and I say does have the win. So really good race still. I understand what Tom said about Glory and Fortune, but he hated or seemed to hate jumping last time. Again, I'm sure they've done plenty with him, but I cursed Tom's selection last time, but I'm cursing Keels' this time because I'm with Banbridge as well. And as I say, I think he'll start favourite.
Okay, nice. An equal opportunities cursor, David. I like it. Tommy's Oscar then 7-4 favourite here. Banbridge is 15-8. Yeah, kind of hoping Banbridge does progress nicely, because he's got that kind of profile where he could easily improve 1.5 stone for the bigger obstacles. And the others, you look at them and you think, are we going to see? He's the only one in my eyes that could be a genuine, proper top-class Arkle contender.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think now that Montmoral's out, he's the other one that could have been. But yeah, I think the only one that can be. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't win, really.
Okay, that's the Arkle trial then. A couple of shouts out from the chat. Again, we've got a lot of races to get through, so apologies for not getting in touch with too many of you. Wouldn't back Pentland Hills at any price, says Ramstein Red, and hope for low sun, and they may not jump as many fences. Then Glory at Fortune at 10-1 is big, says Rob Dixon. But
too early in the day. That's why the chases are early.
There you go, Rob. There you go. So maybe you'll just have to hope for something else coming in your favour for Glory and Fortune. Cheltenham then 220. It's the Paddy Power Gold Cup Handicap Chase here. An absolutely corking contest every single season, and some very interesting and unexposed horses, including Irish Raider, French Dynamite from the Mouse Morris stable at 9-2, top of the betting here. Stolen Silver, who I believe might well have done one or two of us in the studio. Definitely a Keels horse in the past, I'm sure. 6-1 for Sam Thomas. J Law is 13-2. Il Rodotto is 7-1. Galahad Quest is 9-1. Midnight River 12s. Cool Cody at 12-1. Umbrigado at 14-1. And bigger the rest. But we've got the usual array in this race, Tom, of completely unexposed horses who you think, oh, we could have a little bit of extra on that mark. But this is the kind of race that over the years has tended to go to one with a little bit more experience, a little more of a battle-hardened chaser. Obviously, Cool Cody might well have won it if he hadn't have come down, but he was beaten by Midnight Shadow last year. And there are a few battle-hardened individuals who like the track at nice prices.
Yeah. The first time I really get into jumps mode is having watched the Paddy Power every year, because I realise what I'm looking at, what I use for flat mode, is totally irrelevant when it comes to jump race, because this race always goes to the horse that gets in the best rhythm. You know, always. You see the prices of the winners over the years. It's, you know, you're all, you know, when you're looking at a flat, you're always looking for a horse with £10 in hand or a few pounds in hand who's going to, you know, got a nice position, going to get the race run to suit, all those sort of things. Come watch the Paddy Power and it's carnage from the word go, isn't it? And you know after 2 fences whether you've got a chance or not, because either you're out the back jumping badly or up the front with a chance. The races run today, it looked like it was pretty hard to come from way off the pace. Now the ground is going to be quicker tomorrow. I think the forecast is pretty good. I think coming from miles behind might be trickier than people think, despite there being lots of pace up front. And you're not going to be able to miss a beat. If you miss a couple of fences, you'll get out the back and you'll have no chance. So it's wide open for me. Any of these can win it. Cool Cody can win it. Mr. Fisher can win it, even up the top of the weights. Ones I ended up on, funnily enough, were 2 that might get a bit far back, but I don't think they'll be ridden like that. I like Il Rodotto simply because I like Paul Nicholls in these races. He could have had 25 in it, and he's chosen Il Rodotto. I have no worries about him about the trip. I thought he would run well, and at a huge price, right down the bottom, Dayran de Carjac, who's a massive favourite of mine, and he's run incredibly well on ground too soft in races like this many times before off stone higher mark. He's got a very good claim of taking 5 off. I thought he was right back to form at Wetherby last time. People have grabbed him, said, how did he lose? And I know he was 1.03 or something to lose that race. But they were miles clear of some horses that were in good form, him and a Wetherby specialist. I thought that was a really good run. He jumped really well up straight. If he gets in a rhythm off 9 stone 10 or what, or a 9 stone 11 or whatever Harry was taking his fight, I think he could go really well. He was 3rd in the Dipper, only beaten a length and a half by Midnight Shadow, and I just think the better the ground, the better he'll be. So those were my 2, but as I say, it'll be all about the jumping, all about the rhythm. I haven't got a very good record in the race, because if you look down the winners, you know, they're often really hard to find, but they would be my 2. I know you can make a case for any of them at the top. Stolen Silver's obviously got a great chance given the form Sam Thomas is in. But those were my 2, and I'll stick with them.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, the rhythm definitely is key. I mean, Protectorat was beaten in this last year, wasn't he? And obviously,
he made a thumping mistake, didn't he? He made one thumping mistake early doors.
But I mean, I'm just going to mention.
Go on.
You know, it's the first mention of the jump season's Mondamege. I mean, if you tip in Dayran de Carjac, the word that comes to my mind is Zanza. He's another Zanza.
Well, yeah, I backed him and Zanza in this race last year. I mean,
he's going to get behind. He's going to make a crucial mistake.
He's going to make a crucial mistake because it's an undulating track and one of the fences will catch him out. Yeah. I put him in the never, ever again list after Wetherby last time when I had a proper smash on him. I said to a mate of mine, this is his day. And he still managed to curl up in front and not having him anymore, so he'll probably win.
Fair enough, yeah.
It's 33-1, boys.
Yes, I know. I don't. Yeah.
He's not 33-1. He's 14.
You've ruined that.
Well, I've ruined it. Yeah,
you've ruined that. No, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Stolen Silver. I mean, you know, like we've already said, there's plenty of, you know, Cheltenham specialists in here, and he's turning into one.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. If he'd have got a more positive ride last year, he might well have beaten Ed at the Gate over 2 miles, and he was only beating a neck, and that one's £13 higher now. The 4 to Cool Cody on soft ground, I think is probably almost at the limit of his stamina anyway. You know, 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs, and in the plate he just didn't quite get home. But on quicker ground in the spring, he turned that form round. You know, in no uncertain terms, won by 11 lengths. I think Cool Cody was beaten 25. So he's got the ground. He's got a trainer who's in form and becoming a dab hand at winning these big chases now as well, because he's taken out the London Gold Cup at Ascot with Our Power, the Grand Stefan last week with Al Dancer. Grey Diamond ran an absolute cracker today as well in the handicap. So they're all running really well. Can't see him being out of the 4. So I think he's got a cracking price. I did think Midnight River was quite interesting, having bolted up and against much lesser company last time, but did it really well. And if he's fit and not, hasn't gone backwards for an injury, Happy Go Lucky is quite interesting, because he's got some cracking Cheltenham form to his name. I mean, he was outstayed in the Ultima by Vintage Clouds a couple of seasons ago.
I mean, he was progressing into a really good
but
horse,
he also won a race here. He was, he wasn't far behind Time Hill in a Grade 2 novice hurdle in his early years. He was 4th to Indefatigable in the Martin Pipe as well. So he's got some really good form. And yes, he was progressing really well. He's a long time off the track. Be interesting to know how fit he is. It's a hard race to come back in after 581 days off.
Yard have had a few winners there.
But yeah, the Yard have had a few winners, so it'd be of interest at the price. But I'm a bit blinkered with this. I've fancied Stolen Silver for quite a while.
Okay, yeah, Stolen Silver. I mean, it should be. It's one of those ones. It's a bit like, it reminds me a bit of the Nunthorpe bizarrely. I remember saying, if Highfield Princess was on the heels, she's going to go and win. Yeah. I think after the first couple of fences, if Stolen Silver's on the heels, he's not going to be out of the frame, is he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's going to run a big race. But there's a couple of other favourites. Obviously, Cool Cody is one of those. And David Maxwell and Simply the Best could be a match made in heaven for jumping around and plugging on into a place. David, what did you make of the Paddy Power Gold Cup tomorrow? Big betting race?
Yeah, and a really competitive one. As Tom said, you can make a case for most of these. Got a bit of a headache looking at it. Finally came down on the side of Galahad Quest. Likes good ground, has run well here and doesn't win very often, only 1 from 11 over fences, but has run well here before, was I think £4 or £5 higher than finishing 5th in this race last year. But you mentioned David Maxwell, of course, rides one of the Paul Nicholls trained runners. Paul's got a few in this, including Il Ridotto. Paul Nicholls to continue his wonderful vein of form and pick up another big prize. Was 9-2, is now 11-2.
Okay, there you go, a little bit of a price boost for you there. But let's just wrap up the selections, Keels.
Yeah, Stolen Silver for me all the way.
Okay, Stolen Silver it is. Tom Segal.
I think Il Ridotto will probably win.
Okay, Il Ridotto it is. I agree with Keels again. I mean, I don't know if this is good or bad. Sorry, Keels. I'm only just switching into jumps mode. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But Stolen Silver, I think it's going to run a big race. And David?
Galahad Quest each way for me.
Okay, there you go. Galahad Quest at 9-1. The next race we're going to look at is a 3-mile handicap hurdle here, where Shearer is 7-2 favourite. 4-1 Paddle Your Own Canoe. City Ismail is 13-2. Annual Invictus is 7-1. On the blind side is bidding to repeat his winning this at 7-1. Fontana Elise is 12-1 with Jatta Will and Lisnaga Oscar, and it is bigger prices the rest. Plenty of decent 3-mile hurdlers who have found their level in these kind of races. It was won by Sporting John last year, a couple of years ago on the blind side. Nicky Henderson has a good record. Paul Nicholls is in good form and obviously has an unexposed type in Shearer. Paddle Your Own Canoe is exceptionally well handicapped. City Ismail comes from a yard in form. Annual Invictus back over hurdles. Fontana Elise stepping up in trip. Keels, there's a lot to unpick from this race.
Yeah, but there's a horse that's absolutely thrown in, and he's just spectacularly well handicapped. Paddle Your Own Canoe, isn't he? I mean, I don't think me and Tom would be singing for the same hymn sheet somehow. I mean, it's funny because now that they've decided that hurdle marks move with chase marks. It's quite ridiculous, really, because he ran twice over hurdles last season. He started off rated 135, was a perfectly respectable third on his reappearance at odds of 40-1 off that mark. And only ran once more over hurdles, and that was 8th of 17 in a very good Grade 3 handicap hurdle at Sandown. Wasn't it? He was slightly below par, but not massively below par. But he ran twice.
He was surrounded by plenty of horses come out of that and Frank that.
Yeah, exactly. He was surrounded by really good horses, and he's run twice over fences. So once in the Midlands National on bottomless ground, and another time here, and he's been dropped £12. For those, if he'd only run those 2 times over hurdles, it'd still be rated 130 at the very least. So he's been given at least another £7 for running rubbish in a couple of chases. We know he goes well fresh. He's you know, he's just chucked it, isn't he? Like, you know, and I don't think Shearer is. I think Shearer's badly handicapped now because he went up £8 for winning a conditions race last time, in which the odds on, which the short price, not odds on, but a short price favourite was flopped rather badly. Like, you know what I mean? So it might not have taken the most winning. So yeah, I think Shearer's going to struggle off his new mark, especially going to struggle given £16 to paddle your own canoe. So again, it's another favourite. The value's gone. He was 12s in the early prices. Another one I think is well handicapped is Daniel Invictus, but he was pulled out because of fast ground at Newbury last week. Wouldn't surprise me if he comes out again because he is quick, although he has won on decent ground. And the old boy on the blind side might run well. He won this 2 years ago. He is Nicky Henderson's only winner at the Paddy Power Gold Cup meeting since 2018.
And that last winner was probably in this race as well, because he's two from two in this, I think.
Yeah, it was this race, yeah. Yeah, so you know, I think he'd go well. He's been given a chance, and he goes well fresh too.
Yeah, okay.
But paddle your own canoe. I mean, you know, I could see him being shorter than 4-1.
Okay. Paddle your own canoe for Keels, but you're going to be paddling the same canoe then, Tom, by the look at the prices. He is very well handicapped. Is there I mean, he hasn't won over hurdles since Boxing Day 2018, mine. But is there any concern that he might have lost his way, or is this a Skelton handicap special?
It'll have to be a pretty big canoe, but I'm sliding in behind Keels and just paddle your own one. Simply because he's so well handicapped. I mean, he goes well fresh. They won't have been lost on them that this is his race, would it? You know, Cheltenham, Skelton, start of the season. You know, it's just all there for him. As Steele said, he's just too well handicapped. I mean, to leave him alone. I see he's 4-1 now, and he was double that this morning. But I think he's the most likely winner. I do think on the blind side can go well, and I also like Fontana Alisi a bit. I think he will enjoy the step up 2-3 miles. Flew home behind one of Keel's special Sedan last time at the track, and I think step up to 3 miles will really suit him. So I could see him going well. But I just think. You know, I just literally cannot work out why he went down £12 for. I have no idea how the handicap came up with that decision. He might be right. They often are, as people say, but it seems an awful lot in a short space of time to drop him after some good runs over hurdles last year. So I think it'd probably sink with me and Keels in it, but the canoe is the one I'm on. Okay,
so Keels and Tom in a canoe. David Stevens, are you looking at it and thinking I can fit in there, or is this a Leonardo DiCaprio Titanic moment for you? What are you going for?
As much as I respect them, I would never want to be in a canoe with those two. Yeah, look, he's been very well backed, unsurprisingly, given how the case that the guys have just made for him, say now down to 4-1. We are extra place each way here, 4 places. But during the flat season, I'm contractually obliged, obviously, to tip at least one Jim Crowley-ridden horse at every meeting. And in the jump season, it's our Coral ambassador, Tom Scudamore. He rides Sidi Ismail here. He's hoping there's more to come from this horse that has won over fences and hurdles, as you alluded to at the start of this bit, Ross. The yard in great form, David Pipe. So Sidi Ismail each way against, I say, a very popular paddle your own canoe. And it'd be no surprise to see that one replace Shearer as favourite tomorrow.
Okay, paddle your own canoe then is a 4-1 shot. Clem Fandango says 3 men in a boat. Umbrigado 14-1. Blinkers first time, says Stephen Burke. And Chris Reed is going for a Banbridge Shearer double. That's the 2:55 at Cheltenham tomorrow afternoon then. 2 more races on Saturday's card before we have a quick look at Sunday as well. But the penultimate race is a handicap hurdle where we have a well-backed Tony Martin horse. And no, it is. It's 2022. A 9-4 Tony Martin Gamble in a Cheltenham handicap hurdle. Wow. Was it? I'm trying to remember the horse that I backed. Was it Dundora? What was it?
Oh God, yeah, come from miles back under Ruby. Yeah, won the Ultima.
Yeah. That was about, must have been, what, 15, 20 years ago?
The last Irish winner of that race and all.
Yeah, it might well have been. But Unanswered has been heavily backed. He's been in cracking nick since joining from Dermot Wells Stable, and he's 9-4 for tomorrow's 3:30 contest, and the yard almost had a winner today. Wise Guy is 7-2. Ella Perfecta is 9-2. Time Flies By 15-2. Guernsey is 9-1. Marne's Glory does not go. Forever William is a 14-1 shot. 18-1 is Get a Lead, and it's bigger prices the rest. Tom Segal then will come to you first. You're definitely a Wise Guy, but do you have a strong fancy in this race?
Well, yeah, unanswered is the obvious answer to the question, isn't it? Because he is thrown in on his flat form. He really jumped really well on that last time he ran over hurdles, and he was upsides jumping the last 8 or 10 lengths clear at the line. I mean, he could have masses in hand. Problem is, he's now 9-4, and I think he'll be shorter than that tomorrow. And it is, there are a few others floating around. I mean, I was on Tony Martin's big steamer in this race last year, Good Time Johnny, who got beat. He was 5th or 6th. He ended up winning twice afterwards and being rated 150 when he ran in this race off 126, and he couldn't even hit the frame last year. So I'm slightly nervous about suggesting backing unanswered at probably about 15-8 is what he'll be on the day. I do think he's got a massive chance, though, hasn't he? I mean, his flat form's he was really unlucky when he ran last time on the flat. He got trapped behind horses that were slowing down, and the ones up the outside all swamped him, and he never get going again. He's probably got 20 pounds in hand, probably more, probably 30 pounds in hand. If he puts it in and likes Cheltenham, I think he'll win. Wise Guy's pretty good, though. I don't think he's a no-hoper. He could be well handicapped. He did beat Hillcrest in a bumper, didn't he? First time up, so he's no-hoper, and Ella Perfecta looks pretty good too for Colin Murphy. I do think unanswered will win. I wouldn't back him at 15-8, 9-4 then.
Okay, 9-4 then is unanswered for Tony Martin and Peter Carberry, of course. Keels, have you taken any decent prices about this, or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, I think I've got a bit of 6.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those that it's like Tom said. I mean, he improved £29 on the flat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you see his form figures on there. It says 0.000-1. I mean, it's actually, that one was his third win on the spin, and he added another one after it because he'd been running on the flat and running really, really well. And was 5th last time out of the car. The other thing is he's going up in trip, and he's been improving at up to 2 mile on the flat. So he's going to relish it. He's going to be very, very hard to beat. There comes a point when you think to yourself, do I, I mean, I've tipped him, I'm stuck with him in the paper. Would I be lumping on? It's not really for me in a field that size, but, I am stuck with him, so I'm going to have to tip him. If you want to have an each-way bet, I would say consider Forever William, who probably ran into one in Sanino or whatever it's called last time at Chepstow with Paul Nicholls trying to get it into the Greatwood, which, and we'll talk about it later, he would have actually got him off his £10 lower mark at the time. But I think he probably ran into a good one there, and he definitely wants further than 2 miles. So going up in trip, I think he'll run well. I like the ground. So he'll probably be, if I was going to have a bet now, I'd probably have a couple of quid each way.
Okay, and what price are we? Where are we? 14-1 for Forever William. Just have a quick mention of Wise Guy though, because again, I often see this is the second Henderson horse on the spin on this car where your initial impression is, oh, okay, an unexposed Nicky Henderson type in this kind of race. Fair enough. Of course, they put him at that price, but you actually dig into his form and you start to think 119 is.
It could be very good.
It's a very good mark.
In his bumper, didn't he?
But even the other 2 runs make that mark look pretty good.
He did jump away to his right a couple of times at Donny, I thought. But yeah, I mean, he could easily be very, very well handicapped. You'd just be far more interested in him if he was running 2 weeks from now at the Cold Gold Cup meeting at Newbury, wouldn't you? Which is where he really takes off. So although he has just this last couple of weeks taken off in form-wise, nearly 40% strike rate, so he does come into this meeting in a lot better form than he has done over the last couple of years. But yeah, I'd still be more interested if it was a couple of weeks away on Newbury.
Yeah. Okay. Wise Guy is a 7-2 shot. Anything else in the race, Tom? Before we move on.
No, I thought Ella Perfecta would run well. She would be my danger. Colin Murphy's mare that is in good form, I think. Time figure was pretty good last time at Bristol. I think she'll go well too, but I think it's all about unanswered.
Okay, unanswered is a 9-4 shot. Not the only potentially very well handicapped, very well backed handicapper at Cheltenham tomorrow. James Knight quaking in his boots if Paddy Your Own Canoe's gone in and unanswered goes in. David?
Yeah, this unanswered was 3-1 when I was looking at this race. It's not more than about an hour ago, so obviously he's gone all rates down to 9-4, and I don't think it has stopped yet. I think it will just win, won't it? And really interesting, actually, the Nicky Henderson stats that Kills shared earlier there. Didn't realise Nicky's record at this race was quite so uninspiring, but I suppose he's never one to sort of rush them out. even at this stage of the season. But I think just full marks to Keels there for appearing just a little bit sheepish when he just mentioned that he's on this horse at 6-1. I thought you did well there, Keels, because a lot of punters, when they announce that they're on a bigger prices, the first intention is to kick the computer. But well done. You were just sheepish enough.
Thank you, mate.
To be fair, it wasn't his fault. I did.
What was his fault? I got asked, didn't I?
Yeah,
I expect me to lie. I'd have just kept it quiet.
Yeah, I did set you up for that one, so it's not your fault, to be fair.
Keels, only sixes, Keels.
Yeah.
I know. He's slipping, isn't he? He's slipping.
It was very,
We all got bigger.
it was a very small bet.
Yeah, Tony Martin rang me last week. He said, "Get on this."
Exactly.
I said, "Who?" And I said 9-4. Wise Guy 7-2. But okay, so you've backed and answered at a much bigger price. But the danger, Keels.
Yeah, the danger Forever William, I think, is a big price, and Wembley can get in the frame at double figures.
Very well, Tom.
Yeah, I think that'll perfect us the danger.
Okay, David.
Unanswered wins, and we are an extra place, so 4 places each way in this race.
Lovely stuff. That's the penultimate race on Saturday's card. Then the final one is a listed mare's bumper, which I suspect we'll get some. We're either going to get a very, very strong opinion here, or quite the opposite, I feel. But Lucia is 7-4 favourite. Queen's Gamble is 11-4 second favourite. Williamstown Dancer 3-1. Bonte Sevens. Kiss My Lucky Egg is 12-1, which is absolutely 100% entered my top 10 best racehorse names of all time, and is definitely what you're going to say if you back that at 12-1. And it goes on to win. Ruby Island is 16-1. Fortuitous Favour is 16. Bridget Breeze is 22-1, and it is bigger prices at the rest. Right then, Tom Segal, get your lucky egg out and give us the winner of the bumper tomorrow.
Well, I want Kiss My Lucky Egg to win. What a brilliant name. But I don't really think... I think the two at the top of the market looked really good last year, didn't they? I mean, Lucia was so impressive at Sandown. I think you can get... I think, whether she was as good as she looked, I don't know, because at Sandown in that heavy ground, you can get, you get lots of horses that win by miles. I was just as impressed by Queen's Gamble when she won at Cheltenham. I'd love Oliver Sherwood to have a real top-class horse again after all he's been through, and I hope she's as good as she looked. I think it's as good a mare's bumper as probably we've seen for many years. I'm not a mare's bumper fan, and I couldn't tell you where the other ones are, but I think the 3 at the top are all unbeaten and all look exceptionally good. I'm hoping Queen's Gamble wins, but it's not a race up. And given Keels' stat about Nicky Henderson as well, that gives me more hope for Queen's Gamble.
Okay, Queen's Gamble then taking on the market leader here, who is Lucia at 7-4. But the Oliver Sherwood trained Queen's Gamble, Oliver Sherwood could do with a bit of a standard bearer.
He clearly rates this filly very, very highly. His quotes after she won last time, it's very much suggested that, and she did it really, really well. She gets £4 off Lucia. She'd be my selection, but I will be jumping in the car before this race and getting a quick getaway from Cheltenham, because I can't stand bumpers and I don't care all that much.
Yeah, fair enough. There you go. So if you see someone speeding away before the 4:05, it might well be Paul Kealy. Lucia 7-4 though. Queen's Gamble 11-4. There is a potentially nice horse in here somewhere. Bonte coming back to try and win this race again for Fergal O'Brien. Obviously, Willie Mullins raider in the Shepherd Williamstown Dancer as well. A couple of other interesting ones at slightly bigger prices. Mark Walford's got his horses in fairly good nick as well, and he trains Ruby Island at a decent price. David Stevens, what have you got for the last race on Saturday for us?
Yeah, echo everything Tom said about it would be great to see Oliver Sherwood have another good horse, and Queen's Gamble certainly could be that horse. Popular into there at 11-4. Williamstown's Dancer, form of her one win, has worked out very well already. Bryony Frost booked. Willie Mullins bumper horses generally take a lot of beating. But somewhere, a Coral Racing Club member is ruining the fact that Kiss My Lucky Egg has already gone as a name. The unnamed Westerner cannot be called Kiss My Lucky Egg. What a shame.
It could be called Kiss My Lucky Egg 2, if you get rid of the spaces.
I can't wait. I hope it's a really ridiculous name that you get. Do you get the choice, David? Do you get the choice? You choose
no
the
members.
name,
members will vote, so it's a complete democracy.
Horse-
We've seen how well that works in this
Oh,
country.
has it
No,
been?
yeah, but just pick one out
Horsey
the hat.
horse face, wasn't it?
I was going to say, yeah, it's this all over again. But we need to think of. Okay, I mean, it shouldn't be up to me to completely undermine the whole operation, David. But it's just so tempting. But okay, Lucia 7-4 favourite then for the Mayor's Bumper tomorrow at Cheltenham. Let's take a bit of a look ahead to Sunday's card at Cheltenham as well, because we've got loads of good races there, but two specifically, starting off with the Shloer Chase, where we have one of last season's good guys in the shape of Edwardstone returning to the track. He's 8-11 ahead of Nube Negra at 5-4. Sizing Potsy is 14-1. Daily Tigers 50. And Ganapathy is 66-1. What an unlikely bunch of chasers to go up against each other. If you went back a couple of seasons and said this lot were going to be lining up in this race, I think you might well have gone mad. But Edwardstone had an incredible season last year, Tom. And he's up against possibly one of the most frustrating and unpredictable horses in training, in the shape of Nube Negra, who looks world-class 1 minute and looks like he's never going to quite repeat that Altior defeat the next minute. Where do you stand with the Nube Negra? You've been a fan in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is pretty predictable, Ross. I think you just need him fresh, first time out, good ground. Bob's your uncle. I think if this is his race, isn't it, Nube Negra? He's going to win a race this season. It's going to be this one, especially with only one horse to beat. Give a slight bit of weight to Edwardstone, but I just think this will be where, I mean, I think Edwardstone's, Alan King will have him, looking forward to the season, ongoing and trying to get him ready for an Arkle or not an Arkle, a Champion Chase or a Single Creek or a Ryanair if he goes up into it. I think this is Nube Negra's big day. It's 56 grand, isn't it, to the winner? And I think he'll win tomorrow. I think he'll win on Sunday. I think he'll beat Edwardstone.
Okay, fair enough. I might take him out completely. I might do an Edwardstone sizing Potsy for
Really?
this, yeah.
Well, we are in different agreement because I think it's a good thing too. I can't understand why he's not favourite, to be honest. I mean, there were two things I think about it. One, as Tom said, he's great fresh. Remember, he did that Altia, but he slammed Politolog as well.
Yeah.
In this race last year when he won it.
He slammed a 10-year-old Politolog.
Yes, I know, but he won on the bridle, didn't he? He won on the bridle. That's probably better form than Edwardstone's ever put up. And here's the thing. Wasn't Edwardstone just the best of a very moderate bunch of 2-mile novice chasers last year?
Yeah.
We've had third-time lucky Warlord come out and get absolutely hammered in the Horgan Gold Cup, getting chunks of weight off Grenadine. What if they're just not that good? It wasn't a vintage year. I think Nube Negra's a better horse, and first time out's the time to catch him. I expect him to win.
Don't forget, Ross, he should have won the Champion Chase as well, Nube Negra. He was desperately unlucky the second year put the kettle on. He got stopped at least twice. He finished in front of Schackenburg,Toire and Grenadine. I think you're harsh on him. I think he's very good like Heels. I think he'll win.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but he's beat Politolog came out next time out, got beat 45 lengths, hasn't been seen since. He put the kettle on in this race last year, got beat 42 lengths and 27 lengths on their next two starts. Beat Rouge Vith, who last time we saw Rouge Vith, 24 lengths off a mark of 140 only a few days ago in a handicap hurdle. He beat Altior when Altior was, it was, pipe and slippers. I don't know, guys. Edwardstone for me. I do think Sizing Potsy could outrun his odds. I genuinely do, given the pipe form as well. But I haven't strongly disagreed with you two this much in a while. It's almost making me want to actually have a bet as well. That's just the contrary nature. David, what side are you on? Are you joining me on the Edwardstone side, or are you going with? Are you back in that canoe with Segal and Keels?
No, I'm being completely contrarian, going Sizing Potsy to cause a huge upset.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I thought there was more coming.
That's it. You're going to explain yourself? Well,
that's it.
Just having a guess, yeah?
I think there's question marks.
I think it might be the man in the saddle. It might be the man in the saddle, to be fair.
I mean, there's definitely question marks over Nube Negra. I get that he goes well fresh and trainers in good form, but there's definitely question marks over Edwardstone, albeit it was a fantastic victory last year for Alan King and Tom Cannon. And Sizing Potsy's fit well. He's had a run over hurdles. 14-1. I'll take a chance.
Okay, there you go. Sizing Potsy it is. So plenty of opinions for the Shloer Chase, despite the small fields. Let's have a quick look at the Greatwood then before we wrap up the show tonight. And we have 16 runners for the big betting handicap hurdle on Sunday afternoon. And we've got an Emmett Mullins trained favourite. We've got an Emmett Mullins trained favourite somewhere. Just waiting. Our producer said something in my ear.
1,000 Tears.
Yeah. Oh no. I was just waiting for it to come up on the screen, but never mind. 1,000 Tears is a there you go 4-1 shot. Dad's Lad is 11-2. Sonny Gino 6-1. I Like to Move It is 7-1. Gin Coco 9-1. Current Mood is 10-1. Severance 12. Nina the Terrier is a 12-1 shot as well. This is your type of race, Keels. A big field handicap hurdle.
It is. It's one of them.
You've got an Emmett Mullins.
Well, it is when you've got an Emmett, you don't know what to make of it, do you? Because he's having his second run for Emmett Mullins, having run on the flat on his own form. He's 4-1 on his form for his previous yard, on this form that he's got. He's a 40-1 shot, not a 4-1 shot, isn't he? But they've seen something they like, and you know how shrewd they are. They took this race out with a shunter a couple of seasons ago. So you wonder, he could just be very good, but let's remember, he's had 21 hurdle starts and he's won 2 of them. He has the profile as a thoroughly exposed horse who's off a way higher mark than his Irish mark, and he's 4-1. Someone knows something, or do they? Now, I'm the ultimate cynic. I'd rather bet against that type of horse all day long, so I will. I thought Dad's Lad won really well over fences last time. He's got a lower hurdles mark, and he loves good ground. He could win for Willie Mullins, but I came down. I just thought Severance was just a way too big a price, and I still think anything in double figures is. He's only got 1 hurdle win to his name, but he ran some blinders. He clearly loves a big field and a strong gallop. He was second to Cormier in a 12-runner race here on Trials Day in January. He was second to Hacker de Plus in the Class 2 handicap at the Grand National meeting at Aintree. He was second again in the Swinton. And yes, he was a little bit disappointing on his return. He was back down to favouritism for just a 5-runner World's Champion hurdle. But 1, I don't think the small field really suits him. And 2, he was £4 out of the handicap. The jockey put up £2 overweight, so he's effectively £6 lower on Sunday. And he's just going to run. He's just going to finish in the frame. Whether something beats it or not, I just think he'll be laid out for this, and he's definitely got a decent prize in him off his mark.
Okay, Severance then is a 12-1 shot. I guess the angle for the favourite, Tom, is that half a length in a flat maiden behind Bustleton, who bolted up, albeit fortunately off a mark of 142 over fences, so 129 could be workable for 1,000 Tears, but there are good horses in here. I thought I Like to Move It was a little bit interesting. He's barely put a foot wrong, and he's running some absolute blinding races, and this is a little bit weaker than the horses he was running up against on his last 3 starts last season.
Yeah, you just wanted me to sing it again, didn't you? That's why you brought him up. I like him. I like him a lot. I liked him. I fancied him a bit for the County Hurdle last year after his run in the Betfair when he was just touched off. He never went a yard, truth be told. He was one of the first beaten. Didn't jump very well. Obviously, that might have been one run too much for him, but he's got to bounce back on the back of that. I thought Dad's Lad had a very good chance. I thought he did exceptionally well to come from as far back as he did to pick up Effanot Fizz, who ties in with Keels' horse Severance on their Welsh Champion hurdle form. I can't remember, but he's a good bit lower back over hurdles. I just thought he'd go well. And the one at a big price I thought would go well was Gary Moore's one down the bottom, Mark of Gold, who I was impressed with at Humpton last time. But he was a good flat horse. He was a good flat horse for Richard Hannon. He was rated 85 or something, which would be better than 1,000, whatever it's called, 1,000 Tears. He won some good races. He stays well. He jumps well. He's only a 5-year-old. Just looks like the type of horse that Gary Moore will have potted up for a race like this. And he is a master at these 2-mile handicap hurdles. So those are my 2. Willie Mullins and Gary Moore in a 2-mile handicap hurdle. What a surprise.
Lovely stuff, yeah. Let's not overcomplicate, shall we? David Stevens, then what have you got for us? Wrap us up with the Greatwood. I believe you've got a price boost up your sleeve before we wrap up the show.
We certainly have. Look, 1,000 Tears, let's just make clear, he's priced on his connections, shrewdness and past form rather than the actual horse's form. As Keel said, they landed this race with the shunter. Paul Byrne, the owner, a very shrewd cookie as well. For the 1,000 Years, now he is so short, but what he does mean is the likes of Dad's Lad, who were favoured earlier in the week, are out to 11-2. Tom's made an obvious case for him, and I wouldn't disagree with Tom on that one. The Gary Moore horse is 16-1. We are 5 places each way. But if you want Dad's Lad and Thousand Tears, and I'm not sure if there's any other Irish Train runners in it, our final price boost, an Irish Train winner of the Greatwood, was 15-8, now 5-2.
Thank you, David. That just about brings our preview of the second and third days of the November meeting at Cheltenham to a close then. But of course, we can't finish the show without going out with the best bets of the day over the course of the next 48 hours. So naps of the day for Cheltenham over the weekend, starting off with the man to my left, Paul Kealy.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for paddle your own canoe in a 255 at Cheltenham on Saturday. Just stupidly well handicapped.
Okay, paddle your own canoe. Then, Tom Segal, you still in the canoe? What's the nap?
I don't want to sink his canoe, so I'm staying out of the canoe. I'm going for Il Ridotto in the Paddy Power. Okay,
very well. David Stevens, best bet from you, please.
I was tempted to nap sizing pot 2, but I'll keep it slightly less risky and go for unanswered in the race 3:30 tomorrow.
Okay, I do really think that Stolen Silver is going to run a huge race in the big handicap chase tomorrow. So I'll take Tom Segal on with Stolen Silver. But good luck if you're playing at Cheltenham this weekend. On paper, fantastic racing. Cheltenham never lets us down, and we'll hopefully have some cracking races to watch back for future form lines, and also hopefully a few nice price winners as well. Paul, Tom, David, thank you ever so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. Pretty much nearly every week up until Christmas, isn't it?
That's the jump season, yeah. And of course, the World Cup, Tom, which is a sentence.
I know, can't wait.
I don't know. I feel a bit weird saying it. I don't know. I feel like we should be proving Royal Ascot. I don't know, it's very strange, isn't it? But and David, will maybe see you next week. You or Simon, one of the two.
Yes, no, I will be back here for Coral Ascot Hurdle Day and Betfair Chase Day, of course, and I'll give you any latest updates on any new additions to the Coral Racing Club string, and of course where we are with the naming.
There you go. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for watching. Good night. God bless, and enjoy the weekend.